So I'm trying to film in a different side of my room today just to mix things up, and I've since realized that I have like the most boring room in the world. Like I had to put that plant there and change into a red shirt just to like give the picture some color. It's plain and colorless. It's got no style. It's kind of like me, really. You might have already seen my first time in Japan bingo card video that I already made. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. I enjoyed making it. Didn't do that well views-wise, but it's the end of the world. I'm gonna do what I want. Same thing as last time. All of the things listed, they're not like impossible things to find in Japan, but they might be a little more difficult than you would think to find, excluding the free space. So let's get started. The free space, the one right in the center, something completely uncontroversial, something that you're probably almost definitely going to see. And so in this one, in the middle, I have got Ohashi jaded. And you might be like, well, that sounds very similar to the previous one. The previous one was Nihongo jaded, which just means your Japanese is really good, except it doesn't actually mean that. So Ohashi jaded technically means you're very good at using chopsticks. However, for Japanese people, I don't know, I think the bar is set really low for what they think foreigners are able to do, so they'll literally just say it to anyone who is using chopsticks. And it's great, it's very complimentary, and you just get a little ego boost every time someone says it to you. Number one in the top corner, it is being interviewed for a kid's school project. I don't know, this tends to happen a lot like around park areas, like in Kyoto, they'll just, you'll see like little kids with their books and their pens and they're like nervously looking at you. And I don't know exactly what it's for. Maybe some teachers in Japan, you would be able to let me know what it's actually for, but I think it's like to practice English and, you know, talking to people from other countries. Either way, it's adorable and it's probably gonna happen. So the next one on the list is oddly specific, but if it's happened to you, you know what I mean, and that is being gifted citrus fruit by a sweet old man. This happened to my mum and it's happened to me a couple of times. I don't know where these old men are always getting like citrus fruit. They've always got like 3 mandarins just like chilling in their pocket at all times. I don't. The next one on the list is not being offered a plastic bag at a convenience store. Look, it's no secret. Japan loves plastic. Good Lord, do they love plastic. Plastic, individual wrapping, plastic bags, just all of the global warming. They love it. Pro tip, if you would like to not get a plastic bag at any place in Japan, you just have to say fukuro iranai desu. That's fukuro iranai desu. You don't even have to say the des, just fukuro iranai. Fukuro iran. That's a bit rude. Maybe don't say that. The next one is similar, but not quite the same, and this is just finding a piece of fruit for sale that's not also covered in plastic, except at a grocery store. That doesn't count. It has to be like a small shop or a convenience store. In Australia, at least, if you go to a convenience store and you buy a piece of fruit, it's just the fruit, especially like bananas. It's already got a little package around it. It's like nature's bag. That's weird. The next one is a jaded foreigner who should have left Japan 3 years ago. Wow, I know so many of these people. There's always people that, like, after the honeymoon period, they get to a point where they start to see the cracks in the once utopian society that they thought Japan was, and then it all just falls apart and they end up hating everything. But for some reason they don't leave, like they just stay here, like angry all the time. It's a very stressful life. I don't think I could do it. The next one is seeing a man who has realized that he's in the women's carriage halfway through the trip on the train. So in Japan, on a lot of main train lines, they've got women's carriages and they've got like big pink signs and stuff like on the wall, and it's to stop like sexual harassment and assault that often occurs on the trains. But these women carriages are only applicable during certain hours. So during non-peak hours, like anyone can be in the trains, but sometimes I've been on the train with Yoshi and we all just kind of got on, and then I realized like, oh, we gotta go. I'm just gonna keep flipping my hair from one side to the other because I just washed it and it's got no style. Also, complete side note that I'm sure no one cares about. Look how dark this part of my hair is, and then look how awfully gross and light this color is. The next one is a job that could have been a machine or a job that's just completely redundant. I'm not entirely sure of the reasoning why there happens to be so many jobs like this around, but I once got into an elevator in like some fancy department store in Osaka, and there was a lady in there, and it was literally her job to press the elevator buttons. I'm not even shitting you. She would like press the button to open the doors, you get in, and then she'll ask you what floor you want to go to, you tell her the floor, she presses the floor number, and then when the door is shutting, she'll be like, the doors are closing, everyone, be careful, the door's shut. And then it gets to the third floor and she goes, this is the third floor, the doors are opening now, you get out. And then the door's shut and she goes, the doors are closing, everyone, be careful now. And then she presses the I'm not even kidding you, that's her job. You could so easily replace that with a speaker. Or like nothing at all. You don't even need a speaker to tell you like, this is the third floor, because we all have eyes and we can see. Oh no, I guess blind people. So the next one is kind of like a level up from the Nihongo jozu that I had in the last one, and that is Nihon ni nagai desu ka? And that means, have you been in Japan for long? Actually, Dogen, who's another YouTuber, he made a hilarious skit about, basically the premise is that if someone says, Nihongo jozu, it just means that your Japanese isn't that good. It's like, oh, you're trying. But if someone asks you, Nihon ni nagai desu ka? It's like, so it's basically that, but it's a lot funnier because he's actually funny. So the next one will largely depend on where you're from and what your bank fee policies are and stuff like that. And that is just ATM without any withdrawal fees. Japan banks are notorious for charging just fees for everything and so much money. And Dogen has also made a video about that, so go and watch that one as well. He's very funny, guys. This whole video is basically just me saying, stop watching my videos and go watch Dogen. The next one on the list might make this almost impossible for you. I'm sorry about that, but that is finding me in the wild, on the street, in Japan. May be very, very difficult for you to find me because I don't leave the house very often. I think there's probably only been maybe 8 people have ever seen me on the street and said hi. I've had quite a few people message me being like, oh, I think I saw you today in this area, but you're with some friends, so I didn't want to interrupt or whatever. I just want to put this out there. If you see me on the street or something, definitely come and say hi. I'm always happy to speak to anyone. Meeting any of you in person is great. If I'm hanging out with friends, however, definitely say hi. Definitely. Do you know how cool that makes me look in front of my friends? So the next one will probably require a little bit of trial and error on your behalf, and that'll be to smile at someone on the street and have them smile back at you. This definitely doesn't count in countryside Japan because people are so nice in countryside and they'll probably be smiling at you anyway, and they'll come and ask you how your day's been before you even know that they're there. So yeah, no, this only applies to big cities. The next one might come as a bit of a shock to some people, and you might be like, what? That doesn't happen in Japan. Japan is such a clean and respectful and futuristic country. But I digress. Someone peeing on the side of the road. I've seen this so many times. I don't know what it is. I've just seen so many people peeing on the side of the road. The next one is related to someone peeing in the street, but it's a little more ambiguous, and that is surprise penis. Now, Hannah, what could you possibly mean by surprise penis, you might be wondering? And that just means it's unexplained dick. All my ladies that live in Japan, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Without going into too many details, I have seen too many on a variety of different occasions. The first one I can think of is from the previous situation, someone peeing on the side of the road, except it's facing a certain direction to where you can see where it's coming from. Another situation is there was a guy who used to park his car near a road that me and my friends would always ride by, and he would just sit there and touch himself while we rode by, which is great. I love seeing that in the morning. Another situation, I saw a flasher while I was running. Literally, he just wore a jacket, and that was it. And it was winter. It was winter. Wow. And the other situation was I was riding a bus to work, and the guy in the car next to me was, I don't know how to, I don't want to do anything specific with my hands, but he was having a good time. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, my legs are going to sleep. While we're on the topic of people being gross, the next one is somebody making that really awful, disgusting spit hock noise. I think we all know what this noise is. It's like that old man that does that, and then they spit on the side of the road. It's literally my least favorite noise in the whole entire world. But lucky for me, I don't have to travel very far to experience this because Yoshi does it every morning. So the next one will be like a small business, like either a cafe or a little shop or a restaurant or something that's just randomly closed on some random day of the week that's not a public holiday. But it just seems to happen so much. I'll go to like a small cafe or something. No sign out the front, no like notice on their website or anything. It's just closed and that's what it is. So for this one, it's a bit specific to summer, unfortunately, but that'll be going a whole day without hearing the word atsui, which just means hot. And during summer months, it's just like, I don't know, it's like breathing for Japanese people. It's just atsui ne. The next one is on a similar note, but it'll be in winter, and it's the exact same thing, except it's samui, which means cold, except it'll probably be pronounced a bit more like samu. Oh, the next one might be a little bit of a shock to some people, and that's just teriyaki chicken. I think in like Australia at least, teriyaki chicken avocado sushi roll. Oh, fucking chef's kiss, man. But yeah, in Japan they don't really have teriyaki chicken very often. It's not like a staple on the menu like it is in Australia. 2,000 yen note. They're not very common. I don't know why, but sometimes like the ATMs at airports, they'll only dispense 2,000 yen notes. So one time I got like $200 cash out and it was all in 2,000 yen notes. It was like winning the lottery. I didn't want to spend any of them. And then every time I went to spend one of them in a shop, like the Japanese person serving me would always be like, oh wow. And they'd always like have a look at it and be like, did you know this is a 2,000 yen note? They're very unrare. Yes. So the next one is actual peanut butter. Real peanut butter made with peanuts that's just peanut butter. I never knew that this was a thing before moving to Japan, and like so many of my friends have done the same thing. We go to a grocery store when you first move to Japan, you can't read anything, you pick up something that's in a little like Tupperware container, you're like, okay, this looks like peanut butter, it's got pictures of peanuts on it. It's basically like peanut paste mixed with oil, sugar, and cream, and I mean, some people, I'm sure, enjoy it, but it's not peanut butter. While we're on the topic of food, an overweight Japanese person. Very, very rare to find. Obese Japanese person? Okay, no, I don't think I've ever actually seen an obese Japanese person. We'll just go overweight Japanese person. So the next one is somebody who will actually help you up the stairs with your luggage. Unfortunately, doesn't happen very often. It's fine. Especially in a place like Tokyo, it's very unlikely to happen because it's a big city. People are very busy. Everybody has their kind of, what's that called? Blinkers? Not blinkers. You know the things that the horses have? Are they called blinkers? So everyone's got these things on and people are heading to work on the daily commute, and there's millions of people that go through that city every day, so it makes sense that people don't care for others in a way that would happen in a quieter area or something like in Australia. The next one is a child having a temper tantrum. I mean, it definitely happens. I've seen it before in Japan, but it's just nowhere near as common as it would be, at least back where I'm from in Australia. Although I am from Logan, so maybe that's why. And the very last one, oh, holy crap, you made it all the way through to the end of the video, and that is a large pet dog. These are literally, they're like unicorns in Japan. It's so hard to find like large dogs. Like I'm talking like German Shepherd, Border Collie, Labrador kind of dog. Like those kinds of big dogs. It's just really uncommon to find them in Japan. So there we go. There we have the completed Japan Bingo Advanced Edition bingo card. Last time I made one of these videos, I had people like screenshot it and like circle the ones that they'd completed. So it would be cool if people did a similar thing. I'll post it to my Instagram also. So if you do fill it out, make sure that you tag me on Instagram or Twitter. It would be really cool to see if other people have had similar experiences to me. Ladies, let me know how many surprise penises you've seen in Japan. Yeah, go follow me on the social things. I'm so sweaty. Why am I sweating so much? Look at that. Can you see that? That is disgusting.